So, I have just finished watching the Halo Infinite campaign showcase, and I have to say, in one word, wow. Like a full Owen Wilson wow. Because this is something that we have been wanting for quite some time. It wasn't a full gameplay reveal of just, a flat 10 minutes of straight gameplay, which I think I would have preferred. However, it was a good idea of everything that we're going to be doing in Halo Infinite's campaign, and I have to say, it is going to definitely be shaping up as one of the most expansive and definitely one of the most creative Halo campaigns we have ever seen before. So let's jump right into it. We start off with a general overview and a wide shot of a few different structures we'll be seeing in the campaign. A banished stronghold, which when you look at it from the distance away, this thing is freaking massive. Like, the trees are dwarfed compared to it. And then also a Forerunner Palace of Pain. Then we have some more space birds, and then we get the inside look at a Forerunner facility which seems to have been taken over by the Banished. This is new, and I don't really have any kind of idea of what they're trying to do here. I'm not sure if they're trying to get some kind of power source, or if there is something that they're doing to mess with the actual Halo ring. I'm very interested, and I want to know more about this. It also looks like we've gotten an example of what an upgraded high-level grapple hook is going to look like, because when the enemies are actually grapple hooked, they are stunned and they receive shock damage by the looks of it as well. So it looks like these equipment upgrades, which we will cover later on, are actually pretty significant, and it looks like the equipment that we'll use will continue to change throughout the game. Then we have a couple of short clips, one which showcases a Banshee bomb and a cool environment, and another which shows off a Warthog splatter, and once again, a really nice, pretty looking environment. So I think graphically the game is looking a hell of a lot more stable as well. Skipping forward a bit here, we have an example of what it is going to look like to call in a vehicle at a Marine base. There is also an assault rifle symbol just a little bit behind that, so it looks like you can do the same thing for your weapons and get yourself all kitted out before you go off exploring Zeta Halo. We did already know about this system, but it's nice to see a physical example. This next clip is really short, but I did manage to see that there appears to be a sentinel beam on Chief's back as he gets out, and it looks like he's attacking a banished base which is making wraiths. It is hard to tell, but there's a lot of those sort of wraith bodies on the top left-hand side. We also get a look at the cheeky Jackal snipers holding the Stalker rifle. They've got a nice little red dot laser pointer, which does make it a bit more obvious, so hopefully that will help you out on your legendary runs. Then a Banshee overview of a battle going on underneath, and then the beginnings of a cutscene of a brute charger, as I'm calling them, as he kind of comes towards Chief, and thankfully as the Chief gives him a solid elbow to the face, there is no Craig. But also, side bonus, a brute with a goatee and a mohawk. Oh yeah, I love it. I'm a big fan of that. Then we have some short gameplay of the Chief facing off against a hunter, with the thruster pack being used to be able to dodge those crazy shots. Now, this next clip that we're watching seems to be pretty interesting. It's a Marine rescue, but it's not clear if this is something you're going to encounter in the game or a specific mission. The Chief frees the Marines from a distance using his sniper, and then drives down to join them on the field. They are fighting the Banished already, and somehow they've gotten some assault rifles. I'm not sure if there are some that are just lying around nearby that they can scavenge, or if they somehow just spawn in with assault rifles. It's not clear. But then afterwards, I don't know how or why, but he picks up two of the Marines in the Warthog and then drives off the cliff. But if you look at the radar, there's still a blue dot there. He leaves one of the Marines behind. I feel so sorry for that poor bloke. All jokes aside, we get our first look at a boss fight against a brute called Tremonius, and you are seeing this correctly, he is holding a bulldog, alongside many other brutes in this trailer using human-based weapons. And it's also very clear to see that he has a shield and a health bar that are both fully visible to the player during the fight. We also got a new updated look at the TAC map, and there are a lot of collectibles and a lot more details we can see. So first of all, this FOB Golf stands for Forward Operating Base, which kind of seems to be acting like a synchronization point from Assassin's Creed. It allows you to see nearby UNSC and banished activity. Then we have the silo called Ransom Keep, which the chief will then proceed to attack. There are other symbols for collectibles that are there. We later find out that the arrow-pointed looking symbol stands for Spartan Cores, and they are used as part of your upgrades, but the only other ones I can recognize are skulls and data logs, so not really sure what the other ones are. If you do know what they are, please put them down in the comment section down below. The player then attacks the silo, and it looks like this thing's pretty damn big, because it takes up a fair bit of enemies, and the size of this thing is pretty crazy compared to the overall map. So I think that the general scale of this game is pretty freaking huge. Additionally, after taking down the silo, a brute drops in as kind of like a mini boss fight, and he's also holding a human Spunker rocket launcher. To defeat this brute, the player then upgrades their thruster pack to the final level by the looks of it, and it gives you a active camo cloak for 4 seconds. So that's pretty cool, and there are lots of different tiers to them. So here's what I was able to screenshot. For all of the equipment, there is the base level, and then from the looks of it, a couple of different tiers. So focusing on the thruster, the Afterburner allows you to add a second thrust, then the thermal control reduces the cooldown, and then the impulse adds even greater power onto your thrust, finally ending with the escape velocity, which also gives you a active camo cloak for 4 seconds after you use it. And the cost for these is the Spartan Cores, which I mentioned earlier, which seem to be some kind of, currency that you can collect throughout your adventures. The player then has an explosive escape from the silo using a Scorpion tank, and I guess this kind of plays into what 343 was saying about how everything you do, you will be rewarded, whether that's with weapons or vehicles or collectibles. Now, this next moment, wow, this is freaking awesome. Like, this is the sort of stuff you see in cutscenes for other games, but you're able to really experience it all yourself in-game under your control. So that's really cool. It also looks like we have an updated version of last year's campaign reveal. Everything looks graphically a hell of a lot better, but the brutes, I'm not sure why their armor type has changed, so that's a bit unclear to me. Before I go on to the new enemies we'll be seeing in Halo Infinite, I think I also spied, were they playing around with a updated look on a Forerunner monitor? It's definitely not 343 Guilty Spark, but I have to say, once again, I'm very interested. Now, enough of that, let's move on to our new enemies, because these skimmers look pretty cool, but Jaeger Radomni. What a beast. Apparently we're going to encounter him multiple times, so mate, I'm on the edge of my seat already. And then also, this is our first look at the Harbinger. You may not have noticed this on your first viewing, but the Harbinger just knocked the Chief onto a new area of the ring. Like, that was a punch mixed in with a portal, and I have no idea how that works, but I have so many questions, and I just want to play the game. But this is the character that Escharum was talking about earlier, who is working with the Banished, and I have so many questions, and I don't know if this is a Forerunner remnant or something else entirely. Like, I have nothing but questions, and I am so excited after this reveal. Just a side note here, I mean, I feel as if the weapon is just being perfectly written because they're not trying to replace Cortana, and I am so glad that that is not happening, because that would be the worst way to go about it. I know it may not sound like much right now, but I feel as if that level of character detail is important and that they're going about this in the right way. But I think that's probably a good point to call it for today. So let me know what you all thought about this campaign showcase in the comments section down below. Did you like it? Are you pumped for it as I am? And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe so we can hit 1K before Halo Infinite drops. It's all part of the great journey. So join us on that one, guys. I've been Kiv, and I'll see you all on the next one.